This is our facility planning project, and my name is Kevin.
My name is Alan.
And I'm Jackie.
And please enjoy this presentation.
So in this presentation, we're going to talk about the introduction, where we just introduced ourselves. We're going to talk about the line layout and assumptions that we had to make to present you this information. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons of the U-line versus the straight line. We're going to talk to you also about how the footprint is going to change from going in a straight line to two U-lines. The key variables and risks are going to be what the different things you have to take into consideration with these changes, and the closure, which is what we want you to take away from this presentation. The objective of this presentation is to convince you that the U-line is going to be significantly more efficient than the straight line. Production should be higher and much better.
So I'm going to talk about the U-line and the layout of it and the assumptions that we have made. So the workers only need to be at a station for start and finish of the process. The process does not need to be in a sequential order. There will be 3 feet walkways on either side. Assuming that we have enough space to create 2 U-lines, the workstations are going to be 4 feet across and require 3 feet of walk space on either side. Each workstation costs, assuming each workstation costs $1,000 and $150 to move each piece of equipment, and we will provide forklifts to move equipment on site. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the U-line. So the pros that we have determined are that it's easier to maneuver between stations, it takes up less room, and it's easier to supervise and monitor. The cons about the U-line is that it can be difficult to get materials to workstations, the cost of new equipment and the cost of moving equipment, and the downtime period of reconstructing lines.
So the change in footprint is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go from 420 square feet that the old straight line system will have been in to a smaller 360 square foot space. The way we calculated that was we calculated the entire length of the straight line to be 4 feet across with 3 feet of walk space on either side, and we multiplied that by the number of stations, and we ended up with 420 square feet. For the new footprint, it's going to be 12 feet in length and 15 feet in width for a total of 180 square foot per U-line. And since we're having 2 U-lines, that's going to turn into 360 square feet per U-line, or total combined. The resources required to make this change are going to be $1,000 to purchase new equipment per piece of equipment, for a total of $7,000 per piece of equipment. We're assuming that we're going to have to move every single piece of equipment at least once, and that's going to be 14 moves at $150 per move, for a total of $2,100 to move the equipment. We added $1,500 for a cost as a buffer, and for any other additional oversight costs that we might incur. We also will need a second supervisor to supervise the second U-line, which will be an additional cost, but the amount of product produced will be significantly more than what we pay for that second supervisor to be on payroll.
And once again, I'm Alan. I'm going to discuss the breakdown and how we've decided that the U-line is going to be more efficient. Basically, with product A, for example, we've determined that it's going to take, for process 1, 2, and 3 combined, 3 hours. For process 4 and 5, 3 hours. For process 6 and 7, 3 hours. So we've taken 3 people to run each process of product A in that U-line, and assuming once again that they can run each process at different times, or they just have to be there to start the equipment and stop it. So for each cycle of product A will take 3 hours. So assuming we're in an 8-hour day, we can run 2 cycles a day for a total of 6 hours and 2 products produced of product A, and still have an hour for lunch and an hour for maintenance and cleanup. And the same goes for product B, but it only takes an hour and a half for 1 cycle of product B. Once again, we've got 3 workers on that U-line process, and we're able to run 4 cycles a day, again for a total of 6 hours, an hour remaining for lunch and an hour remaining for cleanup and maintenance. Next slide. And this is our basic layout, and you can see we only have 5 stations. That's because we've combined the 3 pieces of equipment required to produce process 1, 2, and 3 on both product A and B. There's still, those pieces of equipment exist, we've just condensed it to visually show it. So you can see we've got 3 people, 1 person running process 1, 2, and 3 on product B, 1 person running product 1, 2, and 3 on product A, 1 person running 6 and 7 on product A, 1 person running 4 and 5 on product A, and then finally product B, we've got 1 person running 5, 6, and 7 simultaneously, and 1 person running process 4.
So some of the key variables, issues, and risks that we need to address for this new system is going to be the retraining and downtime that it's going to take. This is time that we can't be producing material or be producing product, and it's required so that way we can run more efficiently in the future. Since the layout is a little bit different than the other layout, we are going to have to implement a couple of new safety protocols as well. And we do expect there to be some errors in the production because it's a new line, and there's typically going to be a couple bad products that come out of that line before we start getting some good products. But after a given amount of time, we're going to be running nothing but good products, and it's going to be profitable.
Now, in conclusion, in transitioning our production line from a straight line to a U line, we're creating more income because we're at least doubling our production of product A and B. Before we were producing 1 A and 2 Bs per day. Now we're producing 2 A's and 4 B's per day at the minimum. We've also created more storage space by taking up less room in both of our U lines, and we've eliminated the need to hire more production workers in order to reach this new higher quota that our company is requiring. So, thank you. Hope you've enjoyed our presentation.